tonight on the South Today. Gores Aquatic Centre and Ice Rink are closed for the next few weeks with a deep clean in store for the building. Two walkers are donning a set of unusual mascot costumes, preparing for a mammoth walk for charity. And the Alexandra Blossom Festival Senior Queen has been crowned, taking her by surprise. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Hannah Wilkins. Gores Aquatic Centre and Ice Rink have both been closed for maintenance this month. There's a lot of work to do, but the team say the makeover of the multi-use venue is on schedule.
Gone are the budgie smugglers, replaced by a sea of high-vis as workers attend to the makeover of both the Gore Aquatic Centre and the town's ice rink.
We've got our main power distribution board, so that's the board that brings all the mains power in and then sends it off to the stadium, the ice rink and the pool facility, so that has been completely replaced, so it's being pulled out and put back up.
The project is using Gore-based contractors in an effort to help out the local economy in post-COVID times. Aquatic Services Manager Martin McCarrick says that's helping instill a sense of pride at the worksite, and they've found a few surprises.
Such as the grout has got slightly more degraded than what we had hoped, so we have our team in removing the grout. Tyler's will be in to help start putting grout back in next week.
He admits completing the work within 6 weeks will be a tight turnaround, with the Aquatic Centre due to reopen in mid-October. However, the ice rink will be off limits for a while longer. It needs a new foundation of sand and ice installed, which means it's not due to reopen until January next year. In Gore, the South Today.
A ute crash near Christchurch in the early hours of this morning has left one person in hospital in a critical condition.
One person is in a critical condition after a crash at a Christchurch workplace in Stockburn this morning. Emergency services were called to a single vehicle crash at a construction site on Ngā Mahi Road just before 4 a.m. on Wednesday. Firefighters freed the driver, who was transported to Christchurch Hospital in a critical condition. WorkSafe New Zealand are investigating. In Christchurch, the South Today.
A sloth and a panda are getting ready to walk their way down the South Island. Two walkers are donning mascot costumes to take on the mammoth task of trekking their way along State Highway 1.
Walking along St Clair Beach in preparation for a week-long walk. Sarah Walker is an executive assistant and Mel Carter is a cleaner, both choosing to wear these eye-catching panda and sloth costumes as part of a fundraising walk next month. The pair met at the Salvation Army more than 20 years ago and recently decided to partner up for this project, which they've been training for since March. They'll be trekking the 350 kilometres from Christchurch to Dunedin together, wearing their fluffy costumes for the entire 6-day journey.
Why a panda and why a sloth? Well, actually they were just a couple of heads that I picked up when I was up in Whangarei and started out as just dressing up, wearing costumes, having a bit of fun with it and kind of evolved from there.
The reason for the walk is to raise money for the Grow Dunedin partnership, supporting local mental health communities and support groups.
We don't have really a set amount, but the more the merrier, obviously, in this case, as I understand that Grow's wanting to start an outreach in Invercargill, so anything and everything that we can get for that would be absolutely amazing.
Drivers may spot the panda and sloth couple walking along State Highway 1 early next month, with people able to donate to their Panda and Sloth Give a Little page. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Dunedin's new hospital could fall short of initial plans for the number of beds and operating theatres due to budget pressures. Dunedin List MP Michael Woodhouse raised his concerns in Parliament today about the build project currently underway. He claims the new hospital will have 58 fewer beds, along with 2 fewer operating theatres compared to the initial design. Health Minister Andrew Little said in July that changes to the hospital were not being contemplated, although Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern told the ODT recently that all building projects were under budget pressures. A Roxburgh woman has claimed the title of Queen, the Alexandra Blossom Festival Senior Queen, that is. Shirley Marsden was crowned this week at the Alexandra District Club ahead of this weekend's festival, taking her by surprise.
But the winner, the Blossom Festival Senior Queen, Senior Blossom Festival Queen for 2022, is Shirley Marsden.
welcoming applause for this year's senior queen of the Alexandra Blossom Festival. Roxburgh woman Shirley Marsden claiming the prestigious award this week during a special high tea at the Alexandra District Club. She received the title for running the Teviot Valley Garage Sale, but wasn't expecting to take home the crown.
Not at all. Absolutely not at all. I just thought, no, I don't do enough, but there you go.
The Senior Queen competition has been a mainstay for the festival since 1996. Judges decided Marsden was the pick of the nominees, but it's the first time a Roxburgh representative has ever been crowned.
Yeah, we were wondering. Yeah, we've never been in before. And I don't think they've had a contestant before either.
Marsden will get to sit on her throne this Saturday morning as the popular Blossom Festival parade makes its way through the central Otago town. In Alexandra, the South Today.
World-renowned New Zealand dancer Michael Parmenter is nearing the end of his tenure as the Caroline Plummer Dance Fellow at Otago University. During his time in the city, he's been trying to get Southern feet moving through a range of community dance projects.
Always one to put his best feet forward, but Michael Parmenter's time in Dunedin is almost coming to a close.
Okay, so this week marks the last period of my fellowship as Caroline Plummer Fellow in Community Dance here at Otago University.
The experienced dancer and choreographer is planning to go out in style with a series of special events in the city this weekend. They'll highlight the bellfolk style of dancing he's been teaching while based in Dunedin. And he believes the lifting of COVID restrictions means this weekend's schedule of events could be a great way of raising people's spirits.
This seems like a very appropriate time to get back out dancing again. I think community dance is probably the best antidote to the lockdown that we could ever pursue.
Parmenter's pleased to have been able to spend time back at the university where he learned to dance many years ago. He's looking forward to introducing Dunedinites to old-school folk dancing in a final fling before leaving town. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Whai Yakane, still to come on the South Today. Relief for bus users and an invitation for newbies tomorrow with ORC rides free for the day. And thousands of petrol heads journey to the West Coast for the Kaikoura Hop.
Wake up, Dunedin! My mate John's having a daylight savings sale. Daylight savings ends this weekend.
And my mate John. Come on, mate. The blue doesn't go with the brown.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Tēnā koe, welcome back. Dunedin and Queenstown bus passengers are getting a small reward tomorrow after months of winter delays. A nationwide driver shortage combined with COVID absences has caused bus cancellations and other issues for passengers in recent months. To acknowledge this, the Otago Regional Council's decided to make all bus journeys tomorrow free. The day was chosen to link in with Car Free Day, which aims to encourage motorists to ditch their vehicles. However, buses in Dunedin and Queenstown will remain on reduced schedules, which the ORC says will be reviewed on a weekly basis. The V8s returned to Kaikoura over the weekend, with thousands of classic, modified or custom cars rolling into town for this year's Kaikoura Hop.
Whether it's a Ford, a Chev, a Pontiac or even a Leyland, the cars can be customised, with all these and more on show at the 12th annual Kaikoura Hop. Over 1,000 cars drove in for the 4-day hop, which was based this year on the theme of Happy Days. Owners travelled from all over the country, with organiser Doug O'Callaghan pleased with how his small town car show has grown.
13 years ago, going, should I like to have a little car show in Kaikoura? And I was expecting sort of maybe one day to get up to about 80 cars. Well, the first year we did it, we had 77 cars registered and 177 showed up.
For many visitors, the customisation of the cars is the big attraction.
To me, it's like a work of art. People like having them hanging on their walls and just admiring them. Well, this is what this car is to me, sitting in my garage. Go out and give it a clean, give it a tinker with, and have the added bonus of going for a ride in it in the good weather when you need to.
Visitors also got the chance to visit roading cars, compete in a car hop rollerblade serving competition, attend a drive-in movie, and join in a roller disco and later a rock and roll dance. And for those lining up at the car show, there was also the opportunity to enjoy the loud noise and smoke at the burnout competition. In Kaikoura, the South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. The Koa Aquatic Centre and ice rink is closed for maintenance this month as a makeover for the venue is on the way. 2 walkers are putting on panda and sloth mascot costumes, trekking their way across the South Island. And Roxburgh woman Shirley Marsden has been crowned the new Alexandra Blossom Festival Senior Queen. And now a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT, and we welcome the editor, Barry Stewart. Kia ora, Barry, what can we expect in the paper?
Hello, Hannah. Yes, an ongoing story. Southern cancer treatment waiting times are starting to creep up again. It's a familiar kind of cry.
Unfortunately.
But of course, obviously, Cancer Society very concerned about that, so we have a story on that. We also have a story on the University of Otago student who was involved in that rock climbing accident in the States.
Yes,
broke
Yosemite.
nearly every bone in her body, which is horrific, clearly. But the good news is she's back in New Zealand and she's smiling, and we caught up with her at Burwood Hospital, so
Fantastic.
On the road to recovery, so that's a good sign. But yeah, long way to go, clearly. And Queenstown Airport has released a plan for the future, which includes rebuilding its terminal, and of course airports at Queenstown are a pretty good talking point as well. So yeah, so that and lots more.
Fantastic, thank you, Barry.
Thank
We look
you.
forward to reading it. And time now for a look at the weather.
The South Today weather, proudly brought to you by MoleMap, the skin cancer detection specialists.
Looking at the situation, fine weather remains for a few days as the ridge of high pressure lies over southern districts and airflow will tend north during the weekend. Heading to the top of the South Island, cloudy with easterlies up in Nelson tomorrow and a high of 16, fine with 16 as well, and light winds in Greymouth. In Christchurch will be cloudy with northeasterlies and 14 degrees. Travelling to South Canterbury and North Otago now, a fine 14 with easterlies for Ashburton and Timaru tomorrow, with Uamaru getting northeasterlies and a high of 13. Westwards now to the Central Lakes, lovely and fine with light winds through here, 16 for Wanaka and Alexandra, with 15 degrees over in Queenstown. Heading further south, and another fine day through here with light winds and highs of 15 for Balclutha and Gore, and nor'easterlies help take the high over in the Catlins to 13 degrees. Now down to the deep south. Fine and cold tonight in Invercargill with a low of 2 degrees. Thursday and Friday look mostly fine and sunny with a spot of clouds and westerly winds. The highs 14 or 15 degrees. And lastly, heading to Dunedin. Cloudy tonight with nor'easterly breezes down to 6. The next 2 days look fine with low cloud to start, then sunny afternoons with light winds and a high of 13 both days. And that's the news this Wednesday. For the latest news and videos from the Southern region, head online to odt.co.nz. And you can follow Channel 39 on YouTube to catch our news bulletins on demand. We'll see you again tomorrow. Ka kite a pōpō.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.